So, welcome to the Bon Voyage podcast. I have my co-host Kelly Young and our guest Jenny Miller from Globus Tours. And welcome to everybody watching this, maybe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. You can still drop questions into the comments, and we'll get to those as well. And of course, you can always email office@mgatravel.com. So, Jenny, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself and how you got in the travel industry in general, and then how that moved to Globus?
Sure, yeah. So I've been in the industry now since, oh gosh, I guess going on 12 years. I started in the industry. A travel advisor friend said, "Hey, I think you could do this." And friends and family were coming to me to help plan their trips. And I love to be organized and all the things. So I was creating itineraries and doing all these things for them. And so I started in the industry as an advisor. I did primarily theme parks and what we would call like fun and sun, all inclusives and things like that. Um and I did that for a while, and then COVID hit, and we all know what happened there.
Yeah.
A little bit prior to COVID, I was actually looking at making a change in my career in the industry, so that I thought about going onto the supplier side, right? Somebody that, is the tour operator and things like that. And so, um, when the world shut down, I kind of finished out my current clients and things like that. And then world started to open back up, and I thought, okay, it's time to get back in it. How am I going to do this? And I needed to get my foot in the door somewhere. And I'm so grateful that Globus family of brands took me in. And I started with them at our reservation center, taking calls from travel advisors like you guys, helping plan trips for their clients. And when I interviewed, I kind of gave them my 5-year plan and really wanted to work closely with travel advisors, and so incredibly thankful to be here as your business development manager.
You know what's great about your background is how it comes out in the way you do your job. There's so many um, BDMs, which for everybody's business development manager, and they really look at their job as sales and to help generate sales. And that is a big part of the job. But because you've been behind the scenes at Globus, you've helped us out of some pickles, sometimes because you know how the operations work. And it's not just about sales, it's after the sale, and it's very much appreciated.
Well, and I
Oh
think
yeah, absolutely.
and also having that travel advisor background also because understand our roles better and the roles of the agents in our office, which is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that this is a people business, right? And I can't believe I get to talk about amazing destinations and, with, thousands of my new best friends in the advisors. So it really is kind of like a full circle moment for me. And I'm just really incredibly grateful.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think telling people about great destinations beats selling caskets for sure.
And you're not that far down the road either, so that's nice. A lot of our BDMs, because we're part of Travel Leaders in Nexion, are based in Texas, and so it's so nice to have some of our local, geographically speaking, representatives.
Yeah, and I have a very large territory, but I'm constantly all around, right? Like I'm constantly traveling, I'm constantly in the territory, and so always love getting out. You guys are close to the beach, so always happy to get out there.
So what I always tell people, when you live by the beach, you're for sure going to have company.
Absolutely, that's right. When I was an advisor, like I said, I started out primarily fun and sun, right? And the first time I had somebody come to me, it was actually my brother's in-laws came to me and said, "We want to go to Europe. We want to do," and it was easy. Now that I know things, it was easy. London and Paris, right? But for me, somebody that was out of my wheelhouse. I didn't know where to turn, and I actually called Globus. And I was new to guided touring and what that looked like and what all that entailed. And I we picked an itinerary with my clients, and I I sent it to them and they sent me back this beautiful travel packet. And I was like, so wait a second. I just give this to my clients and they just go and you guys take care of everything. And they were like, yeah, pretty much. That's how it works. And it just was, it was so amazing. I was so excited because I looked like the hero, right? And really that's the job, that the team at Globus Family of Brands has to make our travel advisors look like heroes and be able to bring these incredible destinations to your clients. So I love to say we have something for everyone, right? I mean, whether that be a fully guided experience, a small group experience. We have some amazing new small group discoveries, faith-based travel, cruise and rail, and then custom touring, which really is, I feel like what you guys specialize in, and some of the amazing itineraries that you work with us on. And, and it's a collective effort, right, to put together for your clients. And it's just so amazing. And it really, it makes touring easy. It makes it easy and it makes it fun. And, I saw something the other day that said this is no longer your grandparents' way to travel. And that absolutely true. And so exciting, to have this partnership with you for these amazing custom tours that you do.
And you talked about the pandemic, and so let me say that we did work with your customs department for a departure that we were doing in Egypt and Jordan, and that was supposed to go in 2020, and then it was supposed to go in 2021, and it ended up going in 2022. And your custom groups department was like family to us by that time. And the fact that we went out and this departure actually took off, it was like everybody in the home team was cheering us on because so much work had gone into this,
I
planning
and
it and booking it and getting everybody involved. And so it was a really great experience to be able to share that with everybody from your side and from our side.
it went in November 2021,
20, okay.
and it was the first departure to go from custom groups like since COVID. And Matt Lang was on the Zoom call for our document party. Our groups, we always do a doc party where people can either come in person or, come on Zoom and they get to know one another. And plus they get their final documents and we go over the itinerary and, answer all those kinds of questions people have. And Matt came on to answer because at that time we had not been to Egypt or Jordan. And I mean, he was just, first of all, he's fantastic, but he was really getting a little bit emotional, and we all were, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
2021 trying to come out of COVID and just to know that this trip was actually going to go.
That's
So pretty cool.
amazing. That's, I mean, and it hits so many points, right? Like, yes, the customs team is fantastic to work with, right? But if you look at everything that trip brought to you guys and to your travelers, I mean, it is emotional. It's such an incredible thing. And travel does that, whether it's your first trip or your 10th trip, or, even if, I mean, some people can only dream of leaving their home state. And the fact that, we were all able to work together and get this, trip going for you guys, it, is a huge accomplishment, and just really excited for you and your travelers. That's great.
It was
And
great.
then,
And the guides, everything about it. It was really
oh,
great.
we our Egypt guide, Anis, and then our Jordan
Osama,
guide was Osama, and both outstanding guides. I mean, I'm
outstanding.
still
Amazing.
friends with them like on Facebook and
Oh,
Instagram.
I love that. I actually leave for Morocco next week, which is a new to
Ooh,
me destination, and I'm so excited. Very, very excited to go and experience a new culture.
You're gonna
I love
love it.
city, I love
you
culture. I
are.
can't wait.
You were gonna love it.
Great shopping. Definitely some good shopping. Some pick up something.
You did pick up something, didn't you?
I sure did. I'll send you a picture of it at another time, Jenny.
Please do. I want to see.
It's quite lovely, and it
I
brings
think
me
it's the
joy
most
every
expensive bowl in the
it
world.
brings me joy every time I look at it, and that's all
Love
you should concern
that.
yourself with.
I love that. It does it bring you joy. I say
It
that all the
brings me joy.
time. I'll have little things from different, I'm trying to think little things here's something from one of my recent travels. Can you see this? This little
Yeah,
Miffy doll?
Yeah,
Do you know about this?
no.
So
no.
these, it kind of like transformed, I think, from like, I don't know, Hello Kitty or something, but this was made, there's a shop in Amsterdam where all they hand make these Miffy dolls, and they also have like leather goods and things like that. And so I always try to pick up something that's kind of unique from, from that destination. And I think Morocco, I'm just gonna have to end up leaving my clothes there as I shop. Just
Yeah,
I could
it's
buy
worth it.
new. Just, leave them.
Yeah, I agree.
We've some clients and they will pack, like, say they have a pile of clothes that they want to put in the pile to go to Goodwill or something like that, and then they pack those clothes and then they leave them as they go along on the trip, and then they have room to bring things back in, which not a bad strategy.
Not at all.
I
Not at
will
all.
say, I think you should pack a couple Ziploc gallon size baggies, because that way, if you buy spices, you can keep them contained, and also they won't permeate all the rest of your clothes.
Oh, that's a really good idea. I love that. That's a really good idea. I have to figure out how I'm gonna get a rug home. I hear that's the
They ship.
thing.
They ship. Trust me, girl. They do. I
Not a
know from
problem.
experience.
I need a rug for my office. Not a problem.
That will
Yeah.
bring you joy for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. You're gonna love it there. We just had an Outlander group go there in the fall of 2024, so last fall. Actually, it was October. It was a year ago. All right, so let's talk about we're going to talk about two of our custom trips coming up with Globus. One is called Timeless Scandinavia, and the other one is called Alpine Gems. So while we're at it, this is since this is called the Bon Voyage podcast, it's about trips that are on our Bon Voyage hot list. And we always ask some of our partners that create the trips to come on our podcast with us, like Jenny is from Globus. So to get the fastest way to get there is to type tripswithme.com, and that will pull up our Bon Voyage hot list. And they're in order of departure. And you can come down here and you can see right now at the top, or let me make this a little larger. Should be able to see here's Timeless Scandinavia. Down here we have, this is actually another custom trip with you guys. We're not going to talk about it today, but if anybody on the line is interested in Egypt and Jordan, it's going to be a great trip next October, hosted by Troy. So pick one you want to see, which is Timeless Scandinavia, and you click Step Inside the Journey, and then that trip pops up. You'll have information, the key information at the top, like when it leaves, September 4th, 2026, how long, 13 nights, who's hosting. Kelly and I are hosting. And it does include private cabins on an overnight ferry to visit the northern capitals and more. And you got a little map here, and I think I have a bigger one right here, kind of showing the itinerary. So the green one is where we start, and the red one is where you end and you'd fly home. And then each of the circles indicate how many days you stay. So other than the night we spend on the ferry, we have multiple nights at each hotel. So we're not like constantly on the march and packing and unpacking, if you know what I mean. So it starts with 3 days in Copenhagen, 2 nights in Oslo, 3 in Stockholm, and 3 in Helsinki. These are great towns to visit. Have we been to Copenhagen before, Kelly?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. We're pretty good with Norway, Sweden, and Finland, but we were pretty weak in Denmark. Although we were technically in Denmark last month when we were in Greenland.
Haven't been to this. I haven't been to these destinations either, but I'll tell you, the amount of interest that this region is really sparking is wonderful. This typically isn't the first area that somebody thinks of traveling, but there's so many. My husband's been here a few times to Oslo. I think he's been to Copenhagen. He's been to Helsinki a few times, and really, it's a really fantastic itinerary. The Little Mermaid statue that caught my eye looking at this itinerary. And what I love about this is, the exclusivity that your custom tours bring is so incredible, and I really love that. And even though it's guided and whatnot, you built in a lot of free time into your itineraries, which is pretty fantastic. I think sometimes people look at escorted touring and they think, oh, I don't, necessarily want to be with a group the whole time. But you got to look at the itineraries because you build in free time and it's awesome.
Well,
It is.
Michael taught me that. I remember when we first started traveling together 20 plus years ago, and you felt like you got to a destination and you need to maximize your time and you need to get as much in as you possibly can. But really, there's so much of visiting a destination that involves doing absolutely nothing. Like, have you really been to France if you haven't sat down at a sidewalk cafe and had a coffee, or, just people watch for an hour? Or you really haven't, because that's part of what Paris is. And so he definitely taught me that, and we've incorporated it into our travel too, because I think everybody gets a better enjoyment if they have some free time to do what they want or nothing.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. And we've gotten that as feedback from our guests, is that they like the combination of, number one, having an expert guide that can answer all of their questions and take you on planned activities that are fun, and other things like our Outlander welcome dinner, and um, just having an inside scoop, and not wasting your time like trying to figure out where to go. But on the other hand, we know that people also like this independent aspect, and they want days where they can go book their own excursions, or like Kelly said, just maybe relax. I mean, maybe just sit back and enjoy a cafe in Oslo in this case. And September on top of that should be really nice weather in the northern capitals, I think.
Yeah, I that caught my eye too. I actually have a friend of mine, another advisor, is in the area right now, and they actually went and saw the Northern Lights and stuff. I don't know if it was last night, but recently, anyway. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really great time to go. Yeah, picked a good
Perfect.
year, good month.
So just to touch base on that one, I'm going to put a QR code here, right here. And that QR code will take you straight to Timeless Scandinavia. It does have a podcast offer through like October 20th of $500 off per person. So just, you can click on that. You can go to the Bon Voyage catalog. You can, by going to tripswithme.com, or you can follow this QR code. Just let us know if you'd like to join. There's a maximum of 28 people on this one, and we have plenty of room right now. There are some signups, but we do have room. And that's a big difference between the trip we're going to talk about next, which is Alpine gyms.
Wow, what can I say about this itinerary other than wow? Seriously thinking I need to just sign myself up, get registered with the Outlander Society, and start taking part in all of these because man, and both of them are fantastic. This Italy one, and it's so amazing because of the ground you're going to cover and see. I was in Italy in the beginning of March or beginning of April of this year. Really excited for you guys. It's a great itinerary.
Both of these trips, if you'll notice, they both have what we call like a rebate area. So a tiered rebate, we call it. So we're pricing it out on the minimum number of people we need for it to go. But if it does reach a certain number, like, then you get a rebate. So for example, the price goes down because there's more people to help pay for everything. On the Timeless Scandinavia, if you get 22 or more, actually, you get the $500 off per person. That's a promotion for the podcast, but you're going to get a rebate of $1,424 per person if we hit 22. On Alpine gyms, we have the $500 off the price per person, and if we get to 28 or more guests, you get an additional $1,000 off. And that's not a promo. It's just, if we hit that number or higher, the cost, the tiered pricing changes for us, and so we're able to pass those savings on to you,
Let
which
me
is
bring in
nice.
my friends.
And we have 23 people already signed up for Alpine Gym, so that means we only need 5 more to hit that.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I don't know if you've been watching The Reluctant Traveler, Jenny, with
Gene Levy.
thank you. I could not come up with that name. Eugene Levy. We've been watching it. His third season just came out, and last night was about Italy. And he says that he doesn't feel like he's ever been anywhere where he felt so at home as in Italy. And I definitely echo those sentiments.
So I want to say also a little bit, these two trips are also Outlander Society trips. Thank you for bringing that up. As you can see here, we have 2 rules. One is no grumpy travelers, and 2 is no talking about divisive politics while we're on holiday. And we have found that these two rules really create a safe environment for that people feel and also comfortable, and that they can expect it. So if you can't follow those rules, don't sign up for this trip because you won't like it. But if you can follow them, do sign up because you will like it. So that's another thing you can do is go to outlandersociety.com. It takes you to just I think there's 9 trips right now that are qualify. And Timeless Scandinavia is one of them. So Alpine Gyms is very popular, as I mentioned, is an Outlander trip. And it is in April of 2027 for 14 nights hosted by Kelly and myself. We have done variations of Switzerland and Italy before, and we almost always include the Bernina Express. In fact, our very first Outlander group 10 years ago, 2015, was started in Zurich, and we went to Kur, which is a medieval town, a medieval walled town. We found a great place to stay, great place to eat, and you can catch the Bernina Express right in town. So that has made a wonderful trip. And so we're doing it again. You start in Zurich. We're going to spend 2 nights in Kur. We're going to take the Bernina Express to Tirano, which is in Italy. And it's not Tirano, it's Tirano. And then we're going to scoot over to Lugano. And except that we wanted to really do not newer stops. So like you'll notice, like we're not going to Venice. We're not going to spend um, too much time in like the big hot spots. But these are, except for Rome, which the people that haven't been to Italy, they got to go to Rome because you got to see, the Colosseum and the Vatican and the Sistine Chapel. We just can't miss that. But then these are other areas that are,
Off the beaten path.
yeah, off the beaten path. So we'll start off. We go Kur to Toronto, Lugano 2 days. We'll be in Genoa for a day, and we'll visit Cinque Terre, Montecatini, which is where the Ferraris are made, and there's also a Ferrari museum, and we are going to that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
No
actually
souvenirs from there, Michael, except maybe a miniature.
that was actually the first one of the first people that signed up. I
I
won't mention
know,
his
I
name,
know.
but he's a regular he's a regular Outlander, and he's also the commissioner, if that gives a hint to some people on the call. Um, he said, "Wow, wouldn't it be nice if you could stop by the Ferrari Museum?" And I said, "You know what? I think we can make that happen." And I asked our people at the customs groups, and they said absolutely. So now that's part of the itinerary. How's that for like customer feedback?
It's amazing.
Yeah, great.
So
Not
then
surprised.
so then we're gonna hit all the iconic things in Rome, spend 2 nights there, then down to Sorrento, which is we're gonna get a Positano, so that's all the Amalfi Coast, which is
So
beautiful.
beautiful.
It is so beautiful. Every single one of these stops has great food. You're in Italy, and you're gonna be amazed. And then we're gonna go to from there we're gonna go to Castel de Monte, and then our last 3 nights are gonna be in Bari. So I've never been to Bari. Kelly, I don't think we've been to Lecce or Alberobello. We haven't been to any of those places.
Yeah, some really, really great spots. You talked about the food. There was one day when I was in Italy and I had gelato for all 3 meals, right? So they say when in Rome.
Yeah.
I did a cooking class in Rome. It was just, yeah, it's amazing. And so, fun fact, you guys are going to be in Lugano. Our European headquarters, we were founded in Lugano,
Wow.
and our European headquarters are still there.
Very
It's
cool.
been
I did
100
not know
years,
that.
isn't it, or close?
Almost, very close. 97 years this year.
97 years. So you guys have been doing this
Yeah,
a while.
yeah,
Wow.
for sure. Means in 3 years we're gonna have one heck of a party.
I would say so.
So when we're in Lugano, so after we take the Bernina Express, you can see here we're doing a lake cruise with a dinner on it, which should be lovely. The both of these are very good trips. But because we've done a lot of this itinerary so many times, we just kind of worked with the customs teams to be like, no, we want to do this, and we want to stay in Kur, we want to go to Sorrento, and we have specific things to include, but also you'll see there's plenty of free time on this trip too for people. So right here, you got free time prior to dinner. Here's a whole free day in Barry that you can do whatever you want until our Outlander farewell dinner.
You are getting a
And
lot of feedback. And I also want to add into that that even though there is a schedule to go on this trip, you have the right, or you have the prerogative, if you decide to go on this trip and one day you wake up and you said, you know what, I just wanted to wander around town all day long today, and that's what I'm going to do. And you, of course, please, if that's what you want to do. I don't recommend doing that on a transit day, but other than that, yes, do what you want.
Exactly. I mean, if you're not changing hotels, I mean, this is your trip and this is an opportunity to, to make it what you want. I mean, really, you guys have done just such a phenomenal job working with our custom tour department to create these experience for you, for your travelers. And but no, absolutely right. I mean, if you're not doing a hotel change, it's, super easy just to make the day as you want. So, and Kelly, I see that picture there. You throwing a coin
I
into
don't
the
know.
Trevi Fountain.
I think I must.
yeah, that's Trevi Fountain. That's in Rome. So we will see that. This is the Bernina Express. So we'll be in first class with these dome cars, panoramic windows. It goes through this beautiful countryside and also through these glacial mountains that have these glacier lakes, and they're just incredibly beautiful. Then I've got some pictures from around Italy, and this is a stop where you see these mountains actually that you see the train. So that's one of the stops up in the Alps from on a Bernina Express. And here's us eating, dining at in Kur. Like I said, one of my favorite little restaurants. We eat outside, weather permitting. It's really nice out there. And this is inside the Vatican. So you're going to have a lot more pictures than these to bring back home on this trip with some shared memories. So again, pricing on this one, $12,999 per person. We got $500 off per person for our podcast special if you book by October 19th. And then this is evergreen. We move from 23 people, so five more, we get to 28. We will have another $1,000 off for everybody. So how to sign up? You just click this little blue button and you pay the $500 per person deposit and you're in. We'll be reaching out to you and you'll be traveling with us.
I'm ready to sign up.
And I will say this, we have 10 years of Outlander trips, and we've been really it's been really fun to watch a lot of friendships forming over the course of the past 10 years. And last Friday, we actually hosted the gathering, which was an invitation went out to all Outlanders to come to this event. And we had dinner and we had drinks, and everybody just had such a good time catching up with people that they had maybe been on a trip with 5 years ago and hadn't seen since. And it was a really good time. And a lot of really good friendships have been made over the past 10 years, which is very, very exciting, I think.
I love that. I love that's what travel does, I mean, you go on these places and whether it's somebody you sat next to, a guy I went to high school with sat next to this woman on an airplane and they're married now and they have kids and I mean, you
Wow.
just never know where travel will take you. And I
Absolutely.
think that's just so wonderful. And sometimes I saw on their flyer there you were talking there was something there about solo travelers, and I think as a company, we do a really, really great job with solo travelers. They're just like all the other guests. They're very well taken care of, and you always end up meeting somebody. You really do. You always end up, finding somebody that you have something in common with. Somebody, you're learning, about, different parts of the U.S. where they live, and all of these things. And
We actually had a Japan trip, and we had 5 solo travelers together, and nobody could get any FaceTime with them because they all hung out together the whole time. Actually
Or
started a subgroup of Outlanders for our solo travelers. And solo travelers doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have a partner. It could be that you're widowed or divorced or never married, but it could also be you're in a relationship with somebody and your partner does not want to travel, which we have several people like that. And so this is a great way if you want to find a roommate or just somebody else that you want to travel with. That's something that we take very seriously because I don't think that you should have to be part of a couple to travel.
And on this
Absolutely.
on this trip, I think we already have 3 solo people signed up with their own room, and that we are limited to 5 solo rooms, but the single supplement is only 2374. So that's really less,
That's
like
amazing.
20% markup. You know, a lot of times you take a cruise or something and they want double, you know, what one person would pay if they're on double occupancy. So thank you, Globus, for not penalizing the solo traveler as little as possible. And I'm going to put, by the way, I'll put a picture right here of a QR code that you can use to go straight to Alpine gyms. But of course, you can just go to mgatravel.com. And if you navigate around a little bit, you can also find all these types of things.
So if anybody has any questions, if you're watching this recorded, you can drop a comment into the comment section and we will get back with you. Of course, you can always visit our website, mgatravel.com, and all of the information is available for you there as well. Jenny, thank you very, very much for joining us. It's always delightful to see you. Your enthusiasm for what you do is just admirable and contagious, and I love everything about it. And we wish you bon voyage and an awesome upcoming trip.
Thank you so much. It was a joy to be here anytime.
And I want to thank all of our people on live. I want to thank everybody watching the podcast, however you get your podcast, by recording. And again, thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Kelly, for being with us. And thanks for joining us on the Bon Voyage podcast. And farewell. And we will see you later. Bye, everybody.